Hey friends, it's Augie. Welcome to another edition of Augie's Running Club. Another great running story for you today, so let's get this thing moving. I'm going to go ahead and start my treadmill. If you're on a treadmill like me, you can go ahead and get started as well. If you're joining today's run from outside, you can just go ahead and start moving at a little bit of a brisk walk or even a jog. We always start off at recovery pace. I'm going to get our tunes going here. We got music in the headphones. All right. So if you've been here before, you know the routine. If it's your first time, I'm going to walk you through everything in these 10 minutes, explain what it is that you are about to experience. So recovery pace, just so to remind you, this should be something that's just getting your blood moving, body's moving, warmed up. Always start by doing something like this. Don't ever just go from 0 to 60 to jump right into it. Got to let our bodies get ready for this thing here. So welcome to Augie's Running Club if you're here for the first time. I always like to take you through some of the frequently asked questions that I get in doing this in these first 10 minutes as we're starting to get kind of warmed up here. So question number one, what is this? And the answer is really simple. This is a follow-along podcast. So it's available through audio, through video. I put a new one up every day during the week, Monday through Friday. Usually we have the podcast up and available by 5 a.m. East Coast time here in the States. And every single one of these runs is meant to be something that you're hearing me do live in real time. You're going to be hearing me. You can probably already start to hear me as I'm moving, start to breathe a little bit differently. This is me going through the run, and I'm guiding you through it. So that you could do the exact same workout wherever you are in the world at whatever time of your day makes the most sense for you. So if you're a morning runner, an evening runner, whatever it may be, you've got a really good option to get the work in. And so with these workouts, you're going to get a lot of variety, different things that are going to be focused on helping you improve your overall fitness in different ways, which I'll tell you more about in a second. So question number two is, who's this for? Who is this targeting? Who is this aimed at? Who makes the most sense to join in on something like this? And my answer to that is literally anybody. But to get a little bit more specific, I find that if you're a person who's looking to use running as a means to improve the way that you feel, this club is for you. And if you're running already and you have aspirations on continuing to improve your running, whether that be running faster, running stronger, feeling healthier, training for a particular type of race or something like that, this can definitely help you along the way to continue to get better and better and better every day, every week. But it's also very much open to someone who might be interested in running, who's always struggled to just get started, to know where to start, to feel like they can't do it because they're maybe in a tough spot right now where they're not good at it, or they feel like they're going to be judged for even trying. This is for you too. I don't care what level of running you're at, what level of experience. This is wide open to anyone, anywhere, at any fitness level, because that's where I once was. Before I really got into running, I was in that exact same spot. And that leads me to my third frequently asked question, which is, why are you doing this? And my answer, going back to what I was just mentioning, is that this to me is personal. I found myself in that situation where I didn't feel very good about myself, my life, in so many different ways, in terms of how I looked, how I felt internally. And I was dealing with some really significant issues, mentally, physically. And this is all happening and unfolding for me as a teenager. It was already a really tough time. And this on top of it was just something that just felt like something I couldn't beat. And one of the things that changed my life was discovering running, but discovering a different type of running. Discovering running not as this competition, not as a race between me and everybody else out there, but really a means for me to continue to focus on myself and improving myself and finding meaning internally. And running became my meditation, my therapy, And it also became a means of getting healthier physically. That was almost like the secondary outcome of it. And the more that I did it, and I started with where I was, I started slow, and I just focused on getting better and better, and just showing up and doing the work. And you flash forward 20 years, and I've done some really crazy things that I could have never imagined through running. Marathons, half marathons, even did a 50-mile race for the first time last year. And that's why I'm doing this, is because I have something that I feel like I want to give back. If there's anything I wish I would have had along my journey, is the idea, the feeling that I wasn't alone. That there were other people out there that were experiencing some of those same difficult feelings that I was experiencing. And if I'd had that, if I had a support system, I'm sure that my pathway would have looked a little different. My journey would have been a little bit different. And I know how lonely that can feel when you're doing this by yourself, and you reach those moments where it's really hard to keep pushing forward. Things get tough, things get difficult. And I feel like when you have a team, when you have a support system around you, you've got those people that are continuing to cheer you on. So that's what I want to be for you, in terms of being your coach, if you will. If you show up to these podcasts, if you listen along, or if you watch, I'm going to be guiding you through. I'm here for you, so never feel like you're alone, because you've got me. But I'm also hoping to build a really big community around this concept, which is just bringing people together, where a unique and different way around something like running, which is completely universal for all of us. Something that we're all capable of doing, something that could have that impact that it had for me on so many people around the world. So that's the who, the what, the why. Now let me tell you a little bit really quickly, as we're getting a little bit further into our workout, how this all works. So each of these workouts is 45 minutes in total length. They always start with 10 minutes of a warm-up. They always end with 5 minutes of a cool down. But it's the 30 minutes in between where things get really fun and interesting. And that 30 minutes is meant to be something that's open literally to anybody at any fitness level. And the way it works is that everything you're going to hear me talking about, starting with today's workout, has nothing to do with needing to run at a particular pace or even for a particular distance. It's all about a certain level of intensity. And what I'm using is my heart rate to really gauge how I'm training in these different intensity zones. And that's what I want you to follow along with. So if you have a heart rate monitor, that's the easiest way to jump right into this. So you'll be able to really literally be able to listen to what your heart is saying to make sure you're training in the right way to get the optimal outcome. I know a lot of people are walking around wearing Apple Watches, things like that now. So if you have one, it's definitely going to make this a lot easier. If you don't worry about it. You've got another monitor built into your body that a lot of people aren't aware of and don't think of, that you can use to do your best to make sure that you're in the right level of intensity. And that monitor is called your breathing. So you're going to hear me refer to different levels throughout the workouts. You're going to hear my breathing. You can use my breath as a guide, and you can match me to make sure that you're staying in your optimal zone. So you might hear me breathing like this, and I might be going at a certain pace for a certain distance. All I want you to be worried about doing is matching me in terms of intensity, going at your own pace. So whatever gets you there, that's the most important thing. It's the intensity level that we can all train at. And we're all going to be at different levels of output in terms of how fast we can go and things like that, but that does not matter. So that's what you're going to hear me referring to. If you have a heart monitor, definitely bring that along, but if you don't worry about it. This thing works. So in about 45 minutes, we're going to kick off today's workout, which is today's Wednesday, one of my favorite days of the week. We've got hip hop music about to come your way, and we do a hill repeat workout. So I call this hump day, bump day. Hip hop music, slow rolling hills. We've got 6 of them. I'll be telling you about some of the stuff I'm also incorporating into my training throughout today's run. The first one, shift view here on my video podcast, is a virtual reality video game called Zwift. This is one of the things I use as my dashboard. Makes treadmill running a whole lot more fun, for one, but it also allows me to see all of my metrics right in front of me. So I'll be referring to some of these things on the podcast today. If you are just listening along, I'll do my best to paint a picture for you. So we just hit that 10-minute mark. It is time to pick up the pace a bit. And we're starting off by getting into what I call a level 2 zone. Should be a nice, easy pace for you. And again, this is all relative. So if what it takes for you to get into this kind of next level zone is a brisk walk, that's what you got to do. If what it takes is to be running at a pretty brisk pace, then that's where you're at. But it's about us all kind of operating in that same zone. That's what the core of the workout is really all about. So if you're watching my video right now, top left corner, you can see my heart rate. That yellow color corresponds to a level 3 zone. And that's typically, you can also hear it in my breath right now, because I just went from that brisk recovery walk. It's actually starting to jog now. My body's adapting to that. Breath's becoming a little bit more shallow. But in a second here, that should start to kind of acclimate and come back down a little bit more. And then I'll be fully warmed up. So, hump day, bump day, how does that work? We're doing hill repeats, and there's 6 of them. So it's a pretty easy routine to follow along with. If you are running outside, hopefully you can find yourself a hill. If you're running on a treadmill, this will be a little bit easier, because you're just going to use the incline feature to adjust your elevation. So these are going to be intervals. The first 3 minutes are nice, easy, steady pace of running, just very much like what we're doing right now. And did I say 3 minutes? I meant 4 minutes. First 4 minutes, easy, steady pace. The last minute of the interval, so last 60 seconds, we're increasing the incline to somewhere around like a 6%. Actually, no, we're doing 5% today. You want a 5% incline, and we're gonna charge that hill for the full minute. So 5% incline. Again, if you're doing this workout outside, I don't expect you to be out there measuring things, but find yourself what you would typically describe as probably like a rolling hill, not a huge mountain. 5% is something that's going to be making you work, but something that you should be able to maintain a certain pace going up the entire way. So 4 minutes, easy, steady pace, probably in level 2 or level 3, and then 1 minute charging the hill. I'm gonna leave it up to you to decide, on top of the hill itself, how much additional intensity you might wanna throw at it. Some people might wanna add the fact that you're not only running uphill, but you're also running faster. Whatever gets you into the right intensity zone. What we should be targeting today for that 1 minute you're going up the hill is, I'm gonna say nothing higher than the very bottom of level 4 intensity. So if you're watching my video podcast, that corresponds to an orange color. If you've got your own heart rate monitor, I'm not sure what the exact color scheme is like on an Apple Watch, but you're looking at the very bottom of your level 4 zone. Okay? That's the highest we really want to be doing. So I missed my time marker, but let's hit it with this first minute, starting with this next song. So 5% incline, or whatever you're looking for. We're going for 1 minute. This first rolling hill. hear my breath starting to become more shallow. If you don't have a heart rate monitor, this is what you should sound like. Match me for breath. See, just hit the very bottom of my level 4 zone. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now back it off. Slow it down. If you're on a treadmill, go ahead and reduce your incline back to where you started. If you are outside, what I want you to do is just turn around, walk back down your hill. I should say walk, jog, whatever it takes to get that heart rate back down. All right, so what you just finished there, that's our first interval. So there's a total in that 30-minute block of the workout. There's a total of 6 of those. 1 down, 5 more to go. So since I started that first one a little late, we're gonna try to make up the time on this next one. So I'll give you the cue. We got about 2.5 more minutes left of this recovery jog, walk, whatever it may be for you. Just anything that's allowing that heart rate to come back down into our level 2, maybe level 3 zone before we hit that next hill. And so we didn't cover this yet, but the whole point, the benefit of doing hill repeats is it's a great way to build strength and power in your overall running. Because obviously you're not just focusing on how fast you're going and increasing the intensity level that way, but you're also focused on pushing up as gravity is pushing you down. And that's adding almost like an extra level of resistance to your training. So a really important thing to factor in there. And what I like a lot about it is that I do this workout on Wednesdays, which is right after doing a pretty intense, what's called a tempo run on Tuesdays. And it's almost a really nice break for my legs because I'm not moving them as fast, even though I am still using them in a pretty intense environment. It feels nice to kind of just slow it down a little bit and do some hill work where it's almost working a different area of my legs. And it feels like a good way to kind of give part of my legs a little bit of a break there. So I'm back down into my level 2 zone, which is right where I want to be. In a little bit more than 30 seconds, we're about to hit our second hill. So hopefully you got it now. We're gonna hit that hill for 1 minute. We're looking to get that intensity level up, either into that level 4 heart rate zone or something where your breath is pretty shallow, so much so that you couldn't even put together clear sentences. That's how you know you're in that level 4. So 10 seconds. I'm gonna start to increase my incline here on my side back to 5%. And here we go, second one. A little lower halfway. Charge that hill, come on. 5 seconds. Now cool it back down. All right. How you feeling? Getting the gist of it now? I hope so. So I noticed on my side, my heart rate just barely got into that low end of the level 4 intensity zone. And like I said, I really want to make sure I'm getting definitely into that zone. I got there, but not nearly until like the very end of that last hill. So what I'm gonna do for this next one, because this is the interesting stuff you start to see your body doing as it's giving you feedback. And you can see why it's so important, or why it's really effective to use a training method like this, because your body's sending you signals to say, yeah, you can push it more. You need to push it more. Or it might send you signals to say, you know what? You gotta calm it down a little bit. And when you're just out there, following a training plan that says, go out and run 3 miles at this set pace, how do we know that your body's really ready for it? Especially when all of our bodies are so different. So that's what we're trying to do here. Every single one of these runs, it's about the workout itself, but it's allowing us to all personalize it based on where our own bodies are. And if we use something like heart rate, it's the absolute best way to know that you're getting the right and the smart kind of training happening. So we've got about a minute and a half. These hills come quick, don't they? A minute and a half or so before we hit that next hill. So if you found yourself like me on that last one where it just felt like you weren't quite all the way into that level 4 zone, weren't pushing yourself to that right level of intensity, give it a little bit more this time. Either go faster, or you can even increase your overall incline. I think for me, I'm gonna keep my incline where it is and just try to ramp up the intensity from charging that hill a little bit faster this time. So this will be our third one we've got coming up here. Less than a minute. And again, this is just another thing that you learn over time. You start to look at running as a skill more than just some magical innate talent. That it's something like anything that we learn, you just have to work at. And you have to start where you are. And sometimes starting with you are is just walking, and walking really slow, and accepting that that's perfectly fine. And if you show up and you do these types of progressive workouts, this is how you make those gains, and this is how you improve that skill. There really is like with anything in life, there's always going to be the people who are just innately talented. But this is a skill that just about anybody out there can work at and get benefits from. So there's that hill. Let's hit it. Third one. Here we go. Halfway through. Charge that hill. Come with me. Let's go. Let's get into that level 4. All right, there I go. 5 seconds left. And bring it back. One thing that you might notice if you are using a heart rate monitor the way that I'm using one is I have my monitor on my wrist, which has to communicate through an app. So if you're watching the video version of my podcast, you'll probably see a bit of a delay where right in the middle of that last hill, I was still in level 3 zone. Not until the very end of it did I hit level 4. And then I was in level 4 for the next probably 30 seconds or so. And that's partially the delay in the data being able to be fed into the technology. So be aware of that. That's oftentimes why I tell people your breath might actually be an even better real-time monitor of how intense your current level of activity is. So right now, as we're getting back to that recovery, just like I'm doing right now, and this could be practice for you too, even if you're out there somewhere running by yourself, is practice having a conversation. Say things out loud, talk to yourself. We won't think you're weird, we're all weird. Maybe it keeps the, no comment. But talk to yourself because you can hear through your breathing the level of intensity that you're currently at. So right now, all of us should be in a place where you know you're in the right zone, you know you're going at the right pace, if you can have a pretty normal conversation right now. If you're really gasping for air, you need to slow down. If you are crystal clear in terms of your speech ability right now, you can probably ramp that up a little bit. But during these recoveries, it should sound something similar to what you hear in my voice, where I know in my microphone, you can hear that I'm breathing. That still comes through. You know that I'm running, I'm exerting myself, but I'm still able to speak fairly clearly. All right, so we are a little bit over halfway through. We got 3 of our hill intervals done, and that's what we got for the rest of this workout. And like I said, love this type of workout because you're doing work, but you're doing it in a different way. So hopefully you'll be able to finish something like this. Even if you did a really hard workout yesterday, you can do it and it feels different because you really targeted something in a different way, different part of your legs, using your glutes and your hamstrings a bit more since you're focusing on going up these hills versus just flat ground. All right, 30 seconds until we hit that next hill. And I want you to do what you got to do to make sure you're getting into that level of intensity. All right, I'm gonna start to increase my incline, increase my pace over here. All right, let's do this, you guys. You hear that shallow breath? That's what you need. That's how you know you're working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back it off. Woo. Trying to catch my breath. Really pushed it on that one. We got 2 more. Another quick tip that I'll tell you about during these recoveries. If you're really pushing yourself and you're struggling to catch your breath, make sure to breathe really deep breath through your nose and then let it out your mouth. Just like in yoga. I don't know if you've ever done yoga. Very similar. I find that when I need to just like slow things down, deep breath through the nose, out through the mouth, breath slows down, heart rate slows down, you get back to where you're supposed to be. Do another one real quick right here. All right. So if you're following on video, you can see my top left heart rate after a couple deep breaths, back down into level 2. So kind of picking up on that thought that I was mentioning before that last hill is I think a lot of people have the misconception that to be a real runner requires to run every day, run as hard as you can, to run fast, all of these different misconceptions. There really is no such thing. Like I've said many times, running is something that's open to all of us, something that we're innately programmed with. But obviously, you know, you don't use it, you lose it. And like any skill, you have to just get into it, learn how to get better, do the right types of workouts that help you progress. And I think the really important thing too is just letting go of all of those, you know, preconceived notions about what running is supposed to be. When you come and you do these workouts with me, what you're gonna find is 80% of the time, we're running like this, you know, which some people might call slow, but that's the core of most people's running workout. It's really this low intensity stuff, which allows your body to build that endurance, get used to this motion, and to understand, like build its skill set in order to do it more efficiently. And only 20% of the time are we really focusing on going all out. So if you've been there, I know I've been there in the past too, and you're comparing yourself to other people and you're saying, I'm just not fast enough, not fit enough, I'm not the body type of a runner, I could never run, I don't see why people run. Just know that we're all runners. It's all in our DNA, but it's about recognizing that we might all be at different places, and we just got to show up and start doing the work and building the skill to learn how to do it more effectively, just like anything in life. All right, so talking too much again. We just hit our next hill. Let's go. You'll notice that's a common theme on this podcast. Too much talking, and I missed the timer. Come on, let's get this hill. You only got 2 more of these. This one and 1 more. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Back off. Woo. All right, let's hit those deep breaths again. One more. Nice work. All right, so I'm now back in my level 2 zone. If you're still finding your breathing is still pretty shallow, give yourself a couple more of those deep breaths. That's gonna help you get there. So quick time check. We're gonna have about 2 more minutes of recovery here. And you're right there, that last hill. If you're following the video podcast, you can see right in front of me, I got what looks to be a really big hill right in front of me in this video game. I don't think we're running up that, but we got one more. So if you're joining us from outside, awesome job, you're killing it. Showing that hill who's boss. And I also can't forget my friends who like to run out on the trails. I know if you're out on the trails, you probably found a hill. You like to find hills everywhere. I know when I'm out on the trails, that's one of the awesome parts. So hopefully you found a good spot and you're able to use this workout out there wherever you are. Okay, so about 1 minute. We got one more hill, one more hump, one more bump. We got the tunes to bring us home. I'm feeling good. I hope you are too. Put a wrap on this Wednesday. Whether you're just getting started with it, somewhere in the middle of your day, in the end of your day, I guarantee you, this is gonna make you feel better. You're gonna step out of this thing feeling awesome. 30 more seconds of all the hills that you've hit so far. So even if you can't change the angle of the hill in front of you, I want you to go up this hill faster than you have all day. If you're on a treadmill, ramp up that incline, make yourself work. We only got one more of these. We always finish strong around here. So here we go. Incline. Get that intensity level up. Let's go. 1 minute. Come on, level 4. I see you. Charge this hill. We're doing this together. I got you. Halfway up. Keep pushing. Ten more seconds. Come on. Three, 2, 1. Cool it down. All right, deep breath. Another one of those. You did it, you crushed it. My heart rate's still way up there. Gotta calm it down here. We have now entered our cool down zone. Really important thing that I always stress, we've all got a lot of priorities. Squeezing a workout into your day is never easy, but find a way not to skip the cool down. Especially if you're doing these kinds of workouts, you're really pushing yourself, you're pushing your body. You have to let your body come back down to earth, reacclimate. Really, really important thing to do. Just another deep breath. I've now come back to my level 2 zone. My goal with every cool down is to progressively get back into my level 1 zone if I can. But sometimes you've just been going so hard that that's gonna take a while, so no worries. So we got 3 minutes left here of the workout. Progressively just start to slow yourself down from wherever you were. Get that intensity level down. And congratulations, you just crushed those hills. 6 of them, one after another. Each one getting more and more intense. Can you feel that power, that strength, especially in your glutes, those hamstrings? That's gonna pay off in spades in the future. Imagine if you're running a race, every time you hit that hill in front of you, you're gonna be looking at it going, oh, I got this. Instead of looking at it going like, I'm about to get crushed. It's that confidence that comes with putting the work in, putting the training in. So, as we start to bring this thing in for a close, I wanna thank you personally for coming to join me on this run. It was another good one. If you enjoyed yourself, absolutely come join us on another one of these runs. Like I said earlier, we do these Monday through Friday. You'll have a new podcast available on audio and all the different places you find podcasts, available on video from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. So whichever way you want to take part, it's your journey. If you want to listen while you're running outside, if you want to watch while you're running inside on a treadmill, it's all good. So tomorrow's workout, tomorrow things get really, really intense. It's Thursday, it's called Throwdown Thursday. It's more like a traditional speed workout. So we're doing some pretty crazy, intense intervals. And it focuses on getting faster. So if you are one of those people who's motivated by being able to run a certain distance in a certain amount of time, breaking or setting a new PR, this is where the work happens. Thursdays, Throwdown Thursday. It's hard rock music. It's our day. I always like to say the demons come out and we dance with them. It's a lot of fun, but it's gonna kick your butt. And then if you join us on Friday we cruise into the weekend with a nice easy recovery run, call it Feel Good Friday. So would 100% love to have you back tomorrow, Friday, or maybe we'll see you next week. So if you enjoyed this, join us again. The other thing I want you to do is bring a friend. Anybody can join into this thing no matter where you are in the world. Spread the word. This is something that can bring us all together. Definitely go into all of our social media channels. Show some love to everybody else who's out there doing work, and it'll come back your way as well. So thank you again. Hope you had a good time. I know I definitely did. And I look forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow. Peace.